Hi, in this video we're going to talk about Python function arguments, specifically about args and kwargs. These are two important concepts in Python that allow you to pass a varying number of arguments to a function. Before we get into args and kwargs though, let's quickly talk about function arguments. In Python, when you define a function, you can specify parameters that the function expects to receive. For example, let's say you have a function that calculates the sum of two numbers. And let me copy and paste it here. So here we have a and b, they are function parameters or arguments. When you call this function, you need to provide two values for a and b. So we can do, for example, we can call this function and pass 2 and 3, and what we expect is basically 5. Let's see if we get what we expect. Yes. So this will add 2 and 3 together and return the result 5. Simple as that. So what are args and kwargs then? Args is a syntax that allows you to pass a variable number of arguments to a function. Let's take an example to understand it better. So here we define a function called myfunc, and we use this special syntax, which indeed we can have whatever we want instead of args. This is just a Python convention. The important thing is the asterisk that come before the args definition. And then what we do is to iterate over whatever args we get as an input to this function and print it. So for example, here we are calling myfunc and passing 1, 2, and 3. So what we would expect here is to print out in the console all these three numbers. So 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we get what we want. Exactly, so we get 1, 2, and 3. Now let me delete these things just for clarity, and let me rerun it so you can see it better. Exactly, so we get 1, 2, and 3. So as you can see here, this is a powerful method in Python because we are not restricted anymore to define specific arguments, but we can just use this syntax and get whatever we want and do something with what we get inside our function. Now let's go to kwargs. Similarly, kwargs is used to pass a variable number of keyword arguments to a function. So here it's important to stress the fact that we are talking about keyword arguments and not just arguments. So a keyword argument is an argument that is preceded by a keyword, like key equal value. So let me give you an example here. I'm gonna paste some code. So here, by keyword arguments, what we expect is to have something like a key and a value, a key and a value, and so on and so forth. So the power of kwargs, which is very similar syntax to args, what changes is we don't have just one asterisk before the kwargs definition, but two of them. And as before, this kwargs name is just a convention. It can be whatever we want. It can even be house. It will work as well. But let's stay consistent and let's keep kwargs. So in this example, kwargs is used to pass a variable number of keyword arguments to the function myfunc. And when we call myfunc here, we pass these three keyword arguments, name, age, and location. And the job of this function is simply to print out each of the keyword arguments along with its value. So let me change the name of the previous function to myfunc args, just to keep all the two examples in the same script. And the second one that uses kwargs, I'm gonna change it to myFun_kwargs. Great, so let's see what we get as output when we run this script. So let's go to our console, and so we get here as expected the key that we pass and the value associated with that key that we defined when we call the function myFun_kwargs. So we will get name John, age 30, and location USA. So the cool thing here is that right now we are just printing these values. But what we could do also is to say, okay, I'm expecting some keyword arguments, but I don't want to define all of them in an infinite list. And also this list maybe can change in the future. It can expand it. So what we can do here is do something like this. We can use the kwargs. So whatever keyword arguments are passed to the function, we are gonna search for some specific arguments. And we can do this with the get method. Say for example, okay, I'm going to search for the keyword argument's name. So if the user will pass a keyword argument called name, we're gonna take this, otherwise it will be none. And we can call this name. And we can do the same thing with age. And then we can print using Python app string. My name is name and I am something. We can delete the previous for loop that printed the keyword arguments, and now we can even keep myFun_kwargs as it is right now when we call it. So let's pretend that we are gonna pass name, age, and location. So now, even though location will not be used inside this function, we can still pass it. And the function inside it will just search for name and age. So what we expect when we call this function now is my name is John and I am 30. Let's see if we get what we want. My name is John and I'm 30. So that's a very quick overview of args and kwargs in Python. These are very useful when you want to pass a very number of arguments to a function. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more Python tutorials. Thanks. Cheers.